Let me ask you something real quick. Have you noticed how every few weeks there's a new headline promising that something big is about to happen? A payout, a boost, a refund, a new plan that might finally give people some breathing room? And yet, nothing ever feels clear. The numbers change. The dates shift. The rumors spread faster than the facts. And most people are left wondering, is anything actually happening behind the scenes? Or are we all just waiting in the dark? Today, I want to slow everything down, because we're living in a moment where information moves like a time lapse, too fast to catch, too noisy to trust, too confusing to navigate. But when you strip away the noise, the emotions, the viral posts, there is a real pattern emerging. A pattern that affects families, workers, side hustlers, small business owners, anyone trying to stay afloat in an economy that keeps shifting right under their feet. So in this video, we're going to break down what's actually going on, what's real, what's exaggerated, what's possible, and what you, as an everyday American trying to find stability, should be paying attention to. Stay with me, because once you understand the moving parts behind this moment, everything you thought you knew about where things are headed might look completely different. You know, the moment this $2,000 tariff dividend hit the headlines, people across the country started asking the same thing. Where is this money actually supposed to come from? And is it even real? And honestly, that question matters more now than ever. Because here's the truth. Every time tariffs make the news, most people hear the headline, but almost nobody understands the math behind it. And that's exactly where the confusion starts. So let's slow down, breathe for a second, and look at what's actually happening behind the scenes. Right now, the US is collecting billions in tariffs from imported goods, everything from electronics and steel to basic household items. And the idea behind the dividend is simple on paper. Take the money collected from foreign imports and hand a slice of it back to everyday Americans. Sounds clean, sounds simple. But is the amount coming in big enough to send out a nationwide payment? That's where things get interesting, because while tariff revenue can reach tens of billions a year, spreading that across more than 300 million Americans doesn't exactly stretch the way people imagine. And that's the part most people don't see, the gap between the headline and the actual numbers. And here's the twist no one talks about. Tariffs don't just bring in money, they can also change prices for businesses, which then changes the final cost for consumers. So the money collected is never as clean or as predictable as it looks on paper. This is why so many people are stuck in limbo, waiting, checking updates, trying to figure out if this payment is days away, or just a headline that fizzled out after going viral. And that's exactly what we're about to break down, step by step. So you know what's real, what's possible, and what still doesn't add up. All right. So now that we understand the basic idea behind this tariff dividend, let's look at the part everyone keeps misunderstanding, the timeline. Because if you've noticed, every few weeks there's a new wave of posts, screenshots, and short clips saying the payment is about to drop, confirmed, coming this Friday. And every time people rush to check their bank apps, and nothing happens. So why does this keep happening? The real reason is simple. There is no official release schedule, no government portal, no verified rollout date, nothing that gives a concrete timeline the country can rely on. And that, right there, is where the confusion grows. What is happening behind the scenes, though, is a long process of reviewing revenue totals, trade responses, and how stable tariff collections actually are. Because unlike payroll taxes or sales taxes, tariff revenue shifts a lot. One month can look strong, the next can drop sharply depending on global demand, shipping delays, or adjustments in trade routes. So when people ask, why can't they just send it out now? The honest answer is, because the money coming in isn't steady enough to promise a nationwide payout without double-checking every number. And here's another factor nobody talks about. Every dollar collected in tariffs is already connected to multiple budget lines: border operations, port inspections, customs enforcement, trade programs. So before any extra money is counted as a possible payment, the required spending comes off the top, This is why experts keep saying, yes, tariff revenue is real, but turning it into a direct payout is not as instant as it sounds. And as a regular person trying to figure out where this all stands, it leaves you in a weird spot. You're hearing big promises, you're seeing big headlines, but the actual confirmed structure behind the payout is still under evaluation. That's where we stand right now. A lot of noise, a lot of expectation, and a process that's moving but not nearly as fast as social media makes it look. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Because even if the revenue is there, and even if the numbers line up, there's still one question nobody has answered clearly. How would the payout actually reach people? Direct deposit? A tax credit? A yearly refund? A monthly rebate? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is a huge part of why people are confused. See, for any nationwide payment to happen, the system behind it must be airtight. And that means 3 big steps. Step 1. Confirming the surplus revenue. Step 2. Approving the distribution method. Step 3. Running it through a system that can actually handle millions of payments. Right now, none of those steps have been finalized publicly, and that's why everything still feels like a maybe instead of a yes. And here's something most people don't realize. Even if a program is approved, it doesn't turn into a direct payment overnight. These systems can take months to set up, test, verify, and roll out nationwide. So when people ask, could this still happen? The realistic answer is, yes, it's possible. But without a confirmed system, nobody can circle a date on the calendar. And that's why the wait feels so long. It's not that nothing is happening. It's that everything is happening behind closed doors, step by step, and the public only sees the headlines, not the process. At this point, here's what we really know. Tariff revenue exists. The idea of a dividend is real. The interest from the public is massive. But the actual confirmed rollout, the when, the how, the who, is still under review. And that puts everyday people in the same position, waiting, watching, refreshing, trying to figure out if this is something to expect soon or something that still needs time to take shape.